Is this going to be a mess? Yes. Yes, it will. Anyway, hi everyone, my name is Electrey and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my island atlas. Today we are doing another speed build and this is going to be chaotic and messy, and that is mainly because this is the biggest build I've ever done on my island. I am pretty sure, at least based on all the footage I have to go through. I think I spent like 6 hours recording this, but anyway. Since this build turned out to be a lot bigger than what I actually planned, a lot of things happened that probably shouldn't have happened because I just got confused and didn't know what I was doing. Yay. But overall I think it turned out okay, so stay tuned until the end. Oh look, here I am struggling to even climb up a wall. Isn't that lovely? Isn't it lovely to see me in pain? Since this build is so big, there's also going to be a lot of me filling up the area with terraforming, like here. If you are wondering what we're going to be building today, same. I was wondering the same thing when I started making this. I had a plan in my head that I was going to make this beautiful perspective build and have this as a lookout spot, which is why you can see me go up and down this hill sometimes. But that didn't turn out as planned because this area was way too huge and you couldn't see the entire thing, which made it super strange to make a perspective build if you can't fit it all into the perspective. So yay me, that was a great decision. And then I just started terraforming and it turned down to this very overgrown and natural ruins for a ruined castle. Kinda, it will maybe make more sense eventually. I can't make any promises, however, but it turned into something. My plan for this build was to fit in one house, a pair of stairs, and a bridge, and somehow we actually succeeded with that. Eventually, it took some time, but we got there, so that's what I marked out earlier. I'm not going to use any of the normal pots in this build, it will just be like the little rock designs, and yeah, I don't know if I had that much to say about this build, because right now it's just this giant mass of dirt and it looks weird, and here I'm trying to go around and try to make it look less weird, but it's so huge. It just meant to look weird. I don't know, I'm not the best at terraforming, so this was a really big challenge for me, but it was also quite fun. So if you want to make a giant pile of dirt on your island, I would say go for it. I had a good time, except that I shouldn't have been recording for 6 hours straight. That kind of messed with my brain. Yeah, as we move on, I also started building up here on the hill, as you see, because I had the idea of making a perspective build that went straight to hell, but I did want to put in some waterfalls anyway. As I said, I wanted a bridge, so then you need water, and it makes sense to have a waterfall. So that stayed, even though it didn't turn into a lookout spot, but you will see later, everything will make more sense. Later, I also thought that I would make a sunken waterfall here, which is why I left the pit here in the middle open for quite a while, but then I eventually realized that didn't make any sense whatsoever, and I changed my mind and decided to fill it all in again to hopefully make the pit another place that would make sense, and not just straight behind the house, because then you wouldn't be able to see it, and then it would all just be a lot of work for nothing, and that would just be sad. So yeah, the pit had to go. As we move on, we continue with the waterscaping, which was another messy situation. I wanted to make a little river here that would go around the house with 2 small waterfalls on each side, and I wanted the river to be a tiny little skinny legend and look very natural, so no sharp edges or anything like that, and not making it more than 2 square wide. It turned out okay. I always struggle a lot when it comes to waterscaping because I don't know, my brain is just not wired this way. I didn't notice this at the time, but when I went down to place down the house later, as you will see, I noticed that I took one of the corners of the river too close to the property of Miss Daisy, so I couldn't place down a house and I had to redo it later, which was annoying. Anyway, I'm usually quite good at understanding how the houses will look like, but I don't know, my brain just decided to say goodbye and not wanting to help me with anything, which was wonderful. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this. As I said, we will get back to this later when I place down the house. And then I just had to go up to the lookout spot and see what it looked like, because at this point I still thought this would be a perspective build. So yeah, fun times. Then I decided to start terraforming on the second tier, and this is where I realized I want to have the sunken waterfall on this side. And for some reason I also thought I would have a kind of lookout spot situation here over the ocean. I don't know why I thought that was so important, but anyway, I did, so I made a little gap here between the mountains. Then I started to terraform the cliff here into sort of a L shape, because I wanted to have the waterfalls here, and then I wanted to have the waterfall flow in some different angles, if that makes sense. So I try to go around and make it look natural and give it a bit of dimension, you could say. I know this looks weird, okay, and I also thought it looked weird when I was making it, but just trust the process, it will get a lot better somehow. You just gotta wait. And lastly, I just wanted to make sure that I had enough space for some trees, because trees always help everything look a lot better, and I had enough space for 2, which I thought was okay. It would have been nice with more, but you know, sometimes you just gotta work with what you got. And then we move on to the even more chaotic thing. Oh yes, then I had to carve out this pond thingy, and it turned out kind of small, I think, and it also had a bit of a weird shape, you know, like all of my terraforming did, and it was very difficult to fit in the actual waterfalls. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. This was not my best idea, and I got very confused with how the edges worked and where I was allowed to place the water, so yeah, just enjoy the mess. And somehow we got this, which is an improvement, I guess. So now I just had to add the actual water, and as I said, it looked a bit strange, but I just got a vibe. I can't deal with this bridge thing anymore. Bridge, no, water, Words are not my strong side. But anyway, I tried to leave a little bit of space here so I could put up a fence, because I thought that would be cute. And I also thought maybe that I would add some trees here, but it was just not enough space, and I think it would have just been super messy if I made this sunken waterfall even bigger, because it, you know, then it wouldn't be space to walk past here, and anyway, you know what I mean, and if you don't, that's fine too. So the next things we gotta do is to fill up this hole again and just make sure everything looks okay with the waterfalls, and then I will soon start making where I want to place the bridge. And that was an interesting situation, because I thought first that it would take too much space to make a diagonal bridge, and then I wanted to make a straight one because that sounded easier, but I just couldn't get the bridge to fit. I don't know what my problem is with water escaping, as I've said before, because I thought I could make a really tiny bridge, but apparently I couldn't, and I got really confused, so I had to go over to my friend Tom Nook and actually ask him to allow me to make a bridge so I could pretend to put it down and see properly how it would work. And while I was there, I also decided to just buy the house or move the house, which was then I realized I needed to change what I've done before, and I was really mad at myself. But we still placed the house where I originally planned and just had to do some additional terraforming after being stupid and doing stupid stuff. So that was amazing. And then it's time to attempt to place down the bridge. And I don't know, I've always been confused about bridges, especially if they are diagonal, because I don't understand how long the area on both sides has to be. I just usually I usually waterscape until I am allowed to place it down. And sometimes I feel I can make very short and cute bridges, which is what I hoped for here, but it wouldn't let me. And I don't know if that's because I imagine that there is a shorter bridge than what I managed to place down, but I could also be wrong. I am most likely probably wrong. I don't trust my brain at all to remember stuff, but it looked like it would fit, but then it didn't, and yeah, I just made it wider until it let me, and I think it's okay. Is it confusing to have a bridge here? Yes. Is it going to lead to anywhere specific? No, it's just there for aesthetic purposes. Because I really like the bridges and the stairs, so I want to use more of them, or as much as I can. But this is my last major build on my island, so I had to do my best and fit the bridges and the last stair in, just for funsies, I guess. The only thing I have left now is my beaches, which I think will be my next video, so that's gonna be awesome. Then I just handed all my money over to Lloyd and I did the remaining terraforming and waterscaping of this build, or almost. I'm never finished with anything, but I made sure that the rivers go to a waterfall, because on natural islands I feel like that makes more sense, that the river comes from somewhere and just not out of the blue. And then I added another little tiny river and waterfall as well, because you can never have enough tiny and cute rivers on a natural island. And I really like how this turned out, after some struggles and issues, but I think overall all the water really makes it look scary and overgrown and all of that good stuff that I want from my island. And then we also got a really nice pathway over to the ocean area that I for some reason thought was very important, but it worked. And that's good enough for me. Then I just skipped a day ahead so I could place down the stairs as well. And for some reason the weather that day was really cool and so orange and purple, even though I put it at the same time that what I usually do. But yeah, I just want to show that to you. Then I did the remaining of the waterscaping around Daisy's house, so it looked kind of similar to how it did before. It just had to be a little bit more symmetrical, which isn't always what I want for natural islands, but it turned out okay, so I am not going to complain. And here I am stuck in a bush, so awesome. Then we are actually finally finished with the terraforming. Who would have thought? It just took forever. But then we are getting into the decorating part, which is very fun and very exciting. So at first I just start with placing down some trees, because I think that makes it easier for everyone to understand what things will look like, because that adds some height and it just looks better. Have you ever done a terraforming build without using trees? If you have, I would really like to see, because I can't do that, then it just looks super strange. I also needed to change the cliff a little bit to be able to fit another tree on the other hill, because as I said, you can never have enough trees. This is my final major build on this island, and I am super excited about that, because that means I soon can start on a new island. And I've already started planning about what I wanted to do. I have hinted a bit towards it in some of my other videos, so if you remember, you might know. If not, you just have to wait and see what happens. But I've had so much fun with this island, so it's very exciting to think about starting a new island, but it's also kind of sad that I have to say goodbye to this one. But that's just how the Animal Crossing life is. And as I'm starting to decorating here, I realized that I'm not gonna make a perspective build. This was the point I understood, that this was not going to work, because you literally couldn't see anything from the point I thought you would look the perspective from. And then I remembered that I had all of these castle items and stuff in my inventory, and I thought, this could be a good idea. If you don't know me or my island, or just, I don't know, simply doesn't care. But I am making a ghost town with a magical hidden secret, kind of. Or that doesn't explain it good at all. But I have done mostly everything I want to do with the ghost town part, so I thought it would be nice to add something more towards the magical and mystery part. So a castle would be perfect. and since this part is going to be overgrown, I thought it made a lot of sense to just scatter the castle items around randomly instead of building a whole symmetrical castle, because now it looks like the rivers are naturally eroding the area and have torn down the castle, I guess, and I thought that was a really nice thought. But I did struggle a lot to place the items around and make it make sense, because they are quite huge, and the sharp edges on especially the castle walls are kind of hard to hide if you want to make it look natural, which is what I tried to do. So I don't know if it was successful or not, you tell me how you feel about this, but overall the whole area I think really represents a ruined castle very well. I already have a castle built on my island. I have a floating castle, which you haven't seen that video, you should go and do that because that's the build I'm probably the most proud of ever. Not to brag, but I thought even though I have the floating castle, I think it also makes sense to have a castle that actually can go into and explore a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much the thought behind this area. So I'm just gonna keep putting these things down and picking them up again because it took a long time for me to be happy, which is my usual struggle. But I did want to mix the castle items and then the ruined ones because that makes the castle ruined, I guess. Don't ask me any questions. And a big struggle of this build was actually to figure out what I would place behind the house here, because the house obviously has a roof and the roof is obviously tall and it's obviously in the way. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to have something that was taller than the house or if I not wanted to have something that was taller than the house. You know what I mean? So I started with this and you're gonna see me change my mind because, you know, I like changing my mind. But I think it's nice to keep it in so you can see my process of how I'm thinking, because I like to think that I am sometimes being helpful. Maybe I am bragging too much if I'm saying that. It's the journey that matter, not the destination. Isn't that what you're saying? At least that's what I will say matter to me, because that's the only reason I have to justify this mess. Yeah, okay, anyway, moving on. Then I will start to put down some nature. I don't know why I said it like that, but I will start putting down trees and flowers, and I think it's the most important to put down the trees first, as I've already said, because they also are the things that are the most tricky to place down due to the odd shape of this area. Let's not forget that I am making some terrible terraforming that looks very strange, and then we have to fix it by adding more things down. That's the only way this can work. And as usual, I am mixing all of the trees in all of the different sizes. But how did I get all of these conveniently sized trees, you may ask? Well, I do have my friend April, also called April Honey, and oh my god, I love her so much. She is the best. And I'm a part of her Discord server, and there she has a treasure island, so I just run over there and be a literal goblin. I'm just picking up everything I can see and that I might want, and that just makes everything so much easier for me when building islands. I don't think I could have done this without her, honestly. And then we're flying back to this godforsaken island. I got some more bushes and trees and weeds and items I wanted to use, so we're gonna continue with the decorating. And I think I don't know really what I thought when I wanted to decorate this. I just picked up every mossy and trashy item I could find, so that is what we're gonna do. I don't know why, but I just thought that the moss would be really good with the castle walls since they are mossy as well, and I don't really have that much green stuff on my island because it's more yellow, you know, which is why I'm using the more sandstony ruined arches. Okay, I'm just talking myself away. But it's a lot easier to add all of the smaller items after you have placed the bigger ones, obviously, and it just brings the entire thing together. And once I started to put down different things, I also got the more fuller picture of how I thought this would look in my head later on. Also, this is not making any sense, just nod and agree and let's all be happy. Now we are about halfway into the video, so congratulations if you are still here! I am so happy, I appreciate you all so much. Anyway, how are you doing? Are you having a good time? Are you having a good November? Are your exams starting? Because mine sure are, and I am super stressed. I have my first exam the 1st of December and my last one at the 15th of December, so I'm not going to have a good time this winter. Well, actually I can't complain because I've had a lot worse exam periods, and it's nice that I have some time between them and a lot of time now to study, but at the same time I just wish I could be finished and not have them at all, to be honest. I will probably talk a bit about this on another occasion as well later on, but I will probably not be posting that much at the end of the year due to this, which I hope you all can understand. Not that I think anyone is gonna rage if I don't post or anything, but I always put my studies first, unfortunately, or I try to, so I just have to be very boring and read instead of making videos, which makes me very sad. I'm really looking forward to Christmas though, so I'm excited to go home and let my parents give me some free food and sit by the fireplace and not have to worry about school and everything, and it's just gonna be great. And I am so excited to make a gingerbread house. I don't know why I'm thinking so much about that. We're also gonna have a gingerbread house competition at my student union in a few weeks, so I am very curious about how that's gonna go. But we'll see. But before Christmas, before November ends, I'm gonna make a promise and I'm going to keep it this time, and that is that I am going to have this island finished before the start of December. I know, I've said things before. I've said I'm close to finishing this island for a while, but now I actually mean it, because now this is the last major build, and then I'm gonna do, then the next video is gonna be about my beaches, and then that's it. And I really want to finish this island or release it during autumn, because this is a autumn island. It's set 1st of November, I think, around that time. So I want that to keep the theme semi-consistent. How do you say that in English? So I will work hard and do this, and I am super excited to start on a new island. And even though I won't be that active during Christmas and December, I have some really exciting plans for the new year, which I will probably also talk about later. But you know, if you're still here in this ungodly long speed build, you deserve to get some special information. I don't know why I decided to make this entire thing in one build. It is way too big. It's just, I questioned myself many times. I was sorta planning to have a collab earlier this year, but it never happened due to the situation in the world, I guess. So then I was planning to make this into a carnival area or like a circus or something. So this whole chunk has just been standing on my island waiting to get a major build. It's late for me, I can talk, okay. But it's really nice to finally get the last part here done and not just have a big void on my island. Anyway, at this point of the build, I thought it could be fun to do something similar as I did with the collab video I did a while ago, where I built a haunted forest for, what is it called? Yeah, I was about to say whispers. I was like, that is not correct. So I thought it would be nice to maybe make it seem like there are rooms in here, or the remaining of the room, so a little bit of furniture. So I made a little bedroom, and then I made a little sewing area, kind of inspired from Sleeping Beauty. I don't know, perhaps. That's what I thought with this spinning wheel, at least. But I don't know, I just suddenly got that idea. I just reminded of my childhood and how scared I was of that. And I also added the little sword, which I think was much nicer than having the rock there at the bottom. The edge. I need to go to sleep, honestly. But that really added to the castle aesthetic and making it look even more elegant and mysterious, so we're just gonna go with that. And then I continue to just spread some trash around here in the valley, because that's what I like to do. I love to spread trash everywhere. And I wasn't quite sure what to do with Daisy's house, because, you know, I was kind of regretting that I placed it here, but now it was already done, so I wasn't going to change my mind now, but I was regretting it at the time. And then I have to go over and pick up some more stuff.
But you look like garbage rats.
I love treasure islands. They are a lifesaver.
Oh hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
And then we're back again to put down some more stuff. I mostly just picked up flowers because I am running out of flowers, and I also don't want to go overboard with saving them on my island, since, as I've already said, my island is almost finished, and if I'm gonna decorate the beaches, I don't want to have to move the flowers back and forth. That is just gonna be extra messy, and I already have enough mess in my life, so let's not do that. Anyway, this area was finally starting to come together and actually look like something decent once I put down the flowers. And I was very, unsure about this waterfall situation, but after I got some stuff down, it started to look nice. Surprisingly, at this point I also got a really unnecessary thought, because for some reason I thought that it would be nice with some vines at the cliffs at the bottom, and I thought there was space for it, but now when I look back at it, I was just very dumb. I don't know why I thought that would work. So yeah, that was just a waste of terraforming and a waste of my brain power, so let's just ignore that I tried to do that. But I think it would have been really nice with some vines there, but as I said, I don't think it would have looked nice if I expanded this pond situation even further. This area is already big enough as it is, so I just don't think that's what I'm gonna say. But what do you think about this build so far? Because I am actually really proud of myself, especially since this was not how I thought this would turn out to be. I do think it's sad this didn't turn out as a perspective build, because I think that is so cool, especially people that make these amazing perspective builds. But my brain is not just, it doesn't work like that. I have the other castle, the floating castle, as I talked about, so at least I have one perspective build at this island, so maybe that's enough. I think for my future island I will try to make more of them, because they are just so gorgeous, and they're such a good way of not wasting space, but using a lot of space in a good way. Because now that I have decorated fully, I have fully decorated 2 islands, it takes so much time, and you have to place something at every single square in the game, so of course that will take a lot of time, especially with this island, because I have just got an ungodly obsession with flowers, and I am very sure that my Switch does not appreciate this island because it is so laggy sometimes. It was actually not laggy when I was making this build for some reason. I don't know what happens, but next time I'm going to do something, I'm sure it will be worse. It's gonna be horrible. So note to self, if you want to make an island like this, just be aware that the lag is gonna be bad. I do not recommend having flowers everywhere. I recommend it for the aesthetic, but not for your mental health and well-being. I wanted to place some more items here on the top of the hill here, or mountain, I don't know what you want to call it, but it wasn't gonna work out. It would just, no, I didn't bother. I just put down flowers because it was so hard to move here, and for some reason I have lost my ladder in this game, and I can't find it on my island, and I can't find it in my storage, and I just haven't been bothered to make a new one. Is that problematic when you are trying to decorate areas like this? Absolutely it is. Am I going to fix it? Probably not. No, I know myself. I will most likely delay it until the last second. For when the island is done and the dream address is up, I'm going to leave a ladder and everything at the entrance, so it will be easier for visitors to get around. But for myself, I am just gonna suffer for the rest of making this island. I don't care. I am lazy. Then we will hop on the magical plane and take our final trip to the treasure island. Yeah, I had to go to this treasure island for 4 different trips to finish this because I needed a lot of flowers and a lot of stuff. And I don't like going all the way to the airport and writing in the dodo code. It just takes so much time, and then emptying my pocket and putting everything, you know, it's just a long process. I don't want to make this big builds again, I think. But we are staying strong and we are going to finish this. At this point, I was like, I want to go to sleep. I want to go and have a nice dream and then wake up and have a nice coffee. But I was also thinking, I want to finish this today. I don't want to wake up and just have a tiny piece of thing left to build, because then I would just be angry at myself. So I stuck through it and somehow we did finish it. I am very proud of myself. I have said that so many times this video, but I truly am. And as you can see now, you should be proud of me too, because this is starting to look stunning, gorgeous. She's an icon, she's a legend, she's a ruined castle. That was not even funny. I need to learn how to make jokes that people understand and not just mentioning the strange words that are on my mind. What I do think is very fun in general when I'm making these speed builds is that I usually start them at 5 a.m. or 5:30 in the morning, because that's when I think my island looks the prettiest with the green sky and everything. And with these long builds, you can really see that the weather is changing and the sun is coming and that it's a lot of time has passed. But I think it's very cozy, especially now that the sun is coming through and the sky is blue and it looks very lush and nice. I would like to live in this island, I think, even though it's a ghost town and everybody are dead and it's haunted and scary, but other than that, it's beautiful. It would be a fun time. By the way, if you have any suggestions for what I can do with my beaches, I am very happy to hear about that, because there's a lot of beaches on this island and I have not done any of them. It would be nice to have some ideas and not just let them all be covered in weeds and flowers. I will probably do that to some, if I'm gonna be honest with myself, but it will be nice with something a bit more spicy at some places. I've been dying to use the boat, especially the rusty one, so that's definitely going to be somewhere. And also hopefully I can use the little sandcastle somewhere and some nice beach chairs. But I would like to have some other cool ideas, because I'm also going to be decorating the rocks, I think, if I have the energy and the want to do it. For some reason, it's very easy to lose motivation when you are almost finished with an island, as well as you also gain motivation, because I'm motivated to finish it, but I'm also not ready to let it go, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way. I really hope not, because I don't want to sound crazy. But I am excited to get started on the beaches and do some beach stuff. I don't love decorating the beaches. I don't think anyone does, to be honest, but I think it's important to get the whole fullness of the island and to make it look completely complete, if that makes sense. I am still debating if I'm going to care to decorate the inside of my house, because I don't. I have issues with interior designing, you all know that, so I don't think that's gonna be a good experience for anyone, especially myself. Interior designing is just my worst enemy, and I don't know why that happened, so I am sorry about that. That is mainly also why I haven't played Happy Home Paradise that much, because I just find it kind of boring and I don't like how things are turning out. But I did finish it so I could fix the houses, so that was pretty sweet. Oh, and by the way, I lied, I'm actually going to the Treasure Island one more time. I just forgot about it. But we are actually very close with finishing this video. If you are still here after over 30 minutes, you are amazing. You are the best. I applaud you and your attention span. Is it nice to have longer videos sometimes? I guess. I did have fun making it. I'm not gonna deny that, but I do want to try to keep my speed builds around at least 20 minutes, because 30 minutes is very excessive, especially for a build like this. If it would have been a perspective build, it could have been justified, but it isn't, so... But you know what I'm gonna say at the end of the video. I do this every time. Or maybe you're new here, then you don't know. And then I will tell you. If you did like this video, please leave it a like so I know that you liked it. Because if you don't, I'm just gonna be confused and make confusing content. And nobody wants that. And if you aren't subscribed, what are you doing? Go do that. please subscribe. I would be very happy to have you here and join our little community. I also have a Discord server you can join. It's called Working on It and it's linked in the descriptions. Everyone is welcome as always, and it's a very cozy time there, so I would really recommend it. But make sure to stay until the end of the video so you can get this little cinematic view of everything. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!